Hey everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, back at again with another video. This time talking about my best friends, or rather my worst enemy is invisible. So this is one of the later books in the OG series, I believe number 57. Yes, I am right. I always gotta test my mind, make sure I got stuff locked in memory. Anyways, my best friend is invisible. What the fuck, was used in the Goosebumps movie, alright? A lot of people confuse that for being Let's Get Invisible, which is another invisible book from the OG series, but no, that movie features Brent Green, which is the name of our invisible character, because if there was no invisible character, that would be stupid. So don't tell me I'm spoiling you shit. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the blurb. And now for the blurb. He's out of sight, for real. Sammy Jacobs is into ghosts and science fiction. Not exactly the smartest hobby, however, at least if you ask Sammy's parents. They're research scientists, and they only believe in real science. But now Sammy's met someone who's totally unreal. He's hanging out in Sammy's room, and eating his cereal at breakfast. Sammy's got to find a way to get rid of his new friend. Only problem is, Sammy's new friend is invisible. Read aware, you're for a scare. Goosebumps, don't miss the next book in the series. Deep Trouble 2, which we'll review probably during the summer. This book is awful. Yeah. Oh my god. You were gonna think I was gonna be like, oh, that's a pretty good one, like I usually do. I'm pretty generous with Goosebumps books, by the way. I usually give them, like, if you want to round it to stars or anything, I usually give it 3 stars or above. And that's, like, average Goosebumps, like 3.5 territory. That's, like, a 7 out of 10. Yeah, this is not a good one, though. I'm not gonna hide it. This is not a good book. It isn't the worst by far. I don't even think it's the worst in the OG series, I'd even argue. I think there's books way worse than it, like Barking Ghost. Well, not by much, but still. Go check out my review for that. But this is definitely bottom tier, like bottom 5 of the OG series. Yeah, but to be fair, I don't hate a lot of the OG series, but there's a lot of weak ones, and this is one of them. So, let's talk about some of the things I do like about this book, however. So, for as bad a book this is going to be, when we get to the rating and, of course, downsides, there are a couple things I liked about it, but they aren't massive. We'll start off with my smaller ones, get to my bigger ones. Starting off the smallest, probably being the haunted house segment. So, this book, yes, it has a haunted house segment, weirdly enough. That is probably the best part of the story, kind of. I mean, I'm putting it at the bottom, but it's not my favorite detail, but it's still the best part of the story. And even that's just okay, so that's pretty concerning. Yeah, it was nice and creepy, but not a lot to it. Now, I kind of like the first interaction between our character and the invisible character, Brent Green. So our main character, I think his name is Sammy. I think we just read the blurb, too. Oh, big surprise. Anyways, he's a decent character. I mean, the characters are fine, but, like, the interaction between these two characters, the very first one where they're actually talking to each other, I actually quite like it. And also, the scene on the cover in the book is actually... Sorry, the scene on the cover of the book is actually in the book, which is one of the very first appearances of the Invisible Boy, too. Speaking of which, yeah, the build-up... Well, I'm going to get into why I don't like the build-up. I think it's nice that it happened very early on. This is something we rarely see in Goosebumps where it doesn't waste much time at all. Roughly 30-40 pages in, we get to meet Brent Green, and we have an extra 80 pages with him. So, yeah, it's pretty good. You don't have to waste much time getting to the invisible action. It's kind of like how I learned to fly, where it doesn't waste much time about really at all, and you get a bunch of fun stuff going on from there. Yeah, this book is no different, doesn't waste any time, really. It gets a lot of invisible stuff going on in the early chapters, even, like, I think the first couple, like, 1 to 5 chapters. Yeah, there's invisible stuff very early on in the book, and it does not waste time. None of its fake-outs, too. Well, not a lot of it, I don't think. And a small upside is I kind of like the ending. It was a little up my alley, because I like alien stuff. It's a very interesting ending, but, it is sort of flawed. Moving on, that's it. Let's move on to the downsides. Let's start off with the smaller or kind of bigger downsides. There was some bickering in the book that really bugged me. It wasn't huge or anything, but it happened a couple times, and it was a lot of yelling between the kid and the parents. It was really freaking annoying, alright? There was also a notable lack of climax, alright? No, this is a huge issue, honestly. It just kind of happens, like everything goes down in a span of like 10 pages. And it's not a climax because really nothing big happens, just the parents find out that Brent Green is real and they're just discussing him. And we also get to reveal that they're aliens, of course, which I like that part, of course, but the book kind of abruptly ends moving on from there. So not only does it have no climax, it has really no good or true ending. It just abruptly ends, like mid-conversation. Besides that, the book had a little bit of mixed pacing. It wasn't neither like too slow or too fast. It was just kind of in between half the time, but also kind of not. It's kind of hard to describe, but I think that might be rubbing the wrong way because of the climax and the fast build-ups to a lot of scenes and stuff. Besides that, there was also a little bit of hints thrown out in the book for the twist ending that these characters may or may not be aliens. And these hints are not only really bad hints, but they do absolutely nothing, and not only could you never predict the ending, because it's a very unpredictable ending, they're not good hints. They're just not good hints. They're not really hints in the first place. They're just random sci-fi alien mentions, like, are you from another planet or something? I believe that's a line they throw out there in the very early chapters. I believe that is in the first 5 chapters when all these hints come in. That they may or not be aliens, and they have weird technology. I think they said some alien stuff, but it's not really good hints, alright? Very bad hints. They don't get you to where they're trying to get you, ooh, maybe these guys are aliens. They're just random mentions, and they do absolutely nothing for the story besides kind of being off-putting. Yeah, so those are some big issues right there, also some smaller ones. And I want to talk about Brent Green for a second. Brent Green, I don't hate his character, obviously. I used him in Goosebumps Terrors. I like his character in the movie. I think I've said that in a live stream in the past. Or a couple. But he has some flaws here. And that is the fact that he has no backstory or no reason to be there in the first place. His character, poof, shows up. That's how it goes. I know in the first couple chapters, or maybe the first chapter only, the character's fantasizing about wanting to be invisible or something, wanting invisible superpowers. It's just okay, did Brent Green maybe hear this or something? I doubt it. I don't feel like that was necessary to even put it in. He could have just showed up. This character doesn't need to be invisible, fantasies, It's kind of weirdly thrown in there, kind of giving an explanation why Brent Green's here. But also not, because Brent Green isn't some god who overheard his little think sesh. Alright? Brent Green is a human being that is just invisible, that magically shows up in his house of probably 8 billion or somewhere in that margin amount of houses. In that fucking margin, he picks this kid who has a dying desire to be invisible. It's a terrible explanation, right? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add anything. It's dumb. And another little detail about Brent Green is the fact that his reveal to when he was actually having his first interaction with his character, talk on talk. The build-up to that is not only extremely quick, but it's nothing. It's just not even a build-up. It happens so suddenly, and it's just, oh, visible stuff, oh, crap, Brent Green's talking now, talking to her character. Not only is it very fast build-up, which I do not hate exactly, because I like the fact that the book picked up quickly, the build-up that we got was just too much rushing. It could have at least spent more time, or it could have been more abrupt, I'd even say, because I think if it just Brent Green showed up, in this room, that would be kind of cool, we kind of left or something, instead of just him doing random invisible nonsense for no reason at all. And another little thing, the story's insanely repetitive, because I already mentioned this, random invisible nonsense. Not only is it in the build-up, it's throughout the entire story, beginning to end. And it gets a little old, I'll just say that. It gets a little old. And that's about it. It's all I really hate about the story. There's a lot of smaller negatives I could probably throw out there, like how the story is just not a good story. But anyways, let's move on to the rating. Now for the rating. I'm going to give this book a 3 out of 10. It's not very good. It has some small things I do enjoy about it. But overall, it is flawed. It's not a great story. There's a lot of stuff thrown in here I just do not enjoy. It's weirdly paced. Some of the stuff that is elemented into this book or put into here is just not well done, and it's not in a weird manner. Yeah, this book is very flawed. Very flawed. Think it works better on a paper than on a book made of paper. You know what I mean? Right? The concept works better on paper than the execution on paper. Anyways, yep, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think of My Best Friend is Invisible down below in the comments. Do you love it? Do you hate it? If you love it, are you high or something? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.